I'm hoping this is on. Dave here, how are you? You may notice that I've had a haircut. I've got a fantastic barber, and the reason I say that is because she's the one that's got to look at it. Let me know if the stream's coming through okay. This is the midweek show, so I'm not doing the... hold on, let's switch the transition over to the other camera so you can see what the hell's going on. There we go. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. There you go. What do you reckon? Let me know if the stream's coming through fine. It looks like it's all going well down the bottom there. You're probably going to all start saying in a second, Dave, you better switch cameras. You better switch cameras. Well, there we go. I have. Coming through, good sound and vision. Excellent, excellent. As I say, it's the midweek chat show, so it's not really the the presentation with the little intro video and all that kind of stuff. Sounds good, Dave. Like the haircut. Thanks, Daryl. It's one of those things. You know that I was concerned that I was losing hair on the back of my head, and I started taking collagen. These little collagen gummy things. And because Vicky swore by them, she said, it keeps her hair feeling, staying solid. And when she brushes her hair, because her hair's, all the way down here, it used to be coming out in the comb. It's not doing that anymore. So she said, give it a shot. I've done it. And I've always been a little bit conscientious that maybe it hasn't been working too well. So I thought I'd let a little bit more turf grow up the top. But it's going great. So look, let it rip. Over with the clippers. The social distancing, we're not doing the barber stores yet. I possibly will go back, but depends on how good Vicky gets with this little clipper set that I got for her. She's enjoying it. Okay, so during the week, Vicky went on to an auction, an online auction down in Sydney, and she bought a couple of things. It's amazing. See, the thing is, with these auction houses, because people aren't able to get in there as much, people are just relying on photographs on the internet. And that's all she did. So this is the easel she bought. Look at this beautiful thing. It's absolutely ornate up the top here. It needs a little bit of work. It's broken here over time. You've got different types of timber. People keep these things in air-conditioned buildings these days, and it dries the timber out more than what it normally would have done. So it looks for the weakest stress point, and that's an old join. And as a matter of fact, the glue is the stuff that stayed. But the dowel that goes in between here and here is the only saving grace for the thing. The way this easel works is there's I'll pull this out, a wedge on the back of the support. So that, see this little hole here? This is a wedge that goes in and pulls this tight against this frame. But the thing is that frame is sitting back ever so slightly from the main legs. As you can see here, there's a little gap of around 3 millimeters. So when you put the wedge in, you're actually pushing this forwards. And it's over time and air conditioning, it's cracked it. And it's cracked up here as well, all this area where there's this force. Anyway, it looks really, really nice. And I'm still having a think of how to repair this. I'm thinking possibly I'm going to tape it all on this side and around up the back. Turn the whole unit upside down on the desk, on the bench here, and then fill it. Possibly use West Systems with a black pigment, totally black. So this will just look like a dark glue line. I've had all sorts of thoughts on how to do it. Pull the thing apart, maybe clamp the thing and glue it here and put more stress on it. I don't think it's going to work. I think this is going to be the best thing to do. Up here, I may get some sawdust and some glue and push it in as a paste, and then just use a wax that's already got a stain in it over the top. That might work. Anyway, suggestions, guys. But what do you think? There's bargains to be had. I reckon that she's done real well. She loves painting, and this will end up living in our lounge room because my girl's a little bit of a bohemian spirit. She loves this stuff. And she also got, as I say, she got this dressing table down here behind me that I've started working on. But look at this. See, this is one of the drawers that goes up the top. All hand dovetailed. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. And interesting drawer construction as well. Have a look at the bottom. So here, where you'd normally have a slot in the side to take the drawer base, what they've done is they've just dropped the drawer base in. There's a slot in the drawer front to take it. And this is all mahogany. Amazing, isn't it? And they've created a little rebate. If you have a look here, you might see there's a little rebate in this little insert, which actually increases the width and therefore the strength of the bottom of the drawer so it doesn't wear the runner out in the cabinet. I think that's really, really clever. And a lot of the stuff is money saving as well. So in some of the parts on this cabinet, they've got, I'm just going to read here, brown stuff is cheap. Okay, so down here we've got some of the cabinet is pine and the face parts are all mahogany and they've been kind of stained. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, whether I'm going to make myself a lot of work or whether I'm just going to clean it. Look at these mirror supports. Look at the work in that. It's amazing. And this one's actually got the balls that support the mirror. So it was a totally complete unit. Massive big screws go up through the cabinet to lock onto it. The easiest way to do these things is to pull them apart, and they were built in such a way where you can do it. So this is the middle section that goes on top of the dressing table top. Now it's got a thing down here, it looks like maybe it's a candle that's overflowed or someone's put something on there that stained it badly and got rid of the finish. I am thinking about sanding this totally off and then refinishing it. I don't know, as I say, where do you stop? And you can see on the back here, this is the mahogany up the top and this is the cheaper timber underneath. And you see inside, it's quite cheaply made. But, and then the face is all around about, let me see, it's around 4 to 5 millimeters, so that would be around 3/16 of an inch. Where is it going to go, Zoe? Zoe, it's going to go in Nan's bedroom. That's going to be in her little area where she makes herself beautiful in the morning before she comes up to see this. Even the drawers have got this, as I say, solid mahogany. You can see this one split. But even the drawers have got a quad down the inside, which is acting as a glue block to stop any vibration or rattle in the drawer. So I think that's just absolutely beautiful. Look at this big fellow here. This is one of the main drawers at the bottom. 2 little turn knobs on it. Very, very nice. So I'm going to get this stuff going big time. So what happened was U-Butte sent this bottle out to me after I finished work on the other dressing table that Arthur built for his wife, for my great-grandmother. I thought it was for my mum, but I got it wrong. So they sent that out to me. Thank you very much. I might need another bottle by the time I've got through this project. There's a lot of work in that. But these big drawers go in here, like that. Look at this work down here. I don't know if you can see that, but it just looks magic. Another drawer there. Plenty of room under here to get your legs underneath the table. And the mirror, let's have a look. Here's the mirror, all built the same way. Look at that. Just beautiful. A lot of cleanup needs to be done. There's some broken parts up the top here. But it's got the clamps, same as the ones that Arthur had in the top that he had. And the mirror is in still really good nick. Old mirrors normally, they're a different style of mirror to what they have these days. And they normally start peeling at the back, and you'll have areas that you can see through the mirror into the substrate of what they had on it. We've got a bottle of Gear and Finish or Restorer. It's a restorer. It does both. There's a couple of little splits up there I didn't realise as well. So little things I'm going to have to fix on that, and they'll all reveal themselves as I'm going through it all. This is Polish Reviver. So it's got an oil or a wax in it as well as a stripping agent, I think. So it cleans. What you need to do is use a rag, rub it over the top, and then buff it off again. I always use it with the 4-0 steel wool as well. And that really attacks old stuff. You can see, I don't know, you might be able to see it. On this side, I've already had a go at working on this one, and I'm nearly there. On this side, there's still a lot of stuff. And you can tell, you just drag your thumbnail across in these little rebates, and there's rubbish coming out all over the place. So it really needs a good clean. So very exciting, very exciting. Let me have a look down here. Govinda, good morning. Midnight Joke, hard to say without a close-up view. Silver, do you remember the TV show called 96? Herbie used to rub chicken manure to stop going bald. I do remember Herb and, was it Dory or Florrie? Dory anyway. They lived on the top story of number 96, and they had Arnold Ziffel, Mr. Godolphus down the bottom. They had Don, Abigail. Oh, man, that was the TV show to watch as a young teenage boy, if you know what I mean. Anyway, morning, Mongrel. Zoe, I've already spoken to you. Owen, that's odd. My initial hello message is not showing up on your chat. Say hello from the Netherlands. G'day, Owen. How are you? Bob, hello from Kelowna in British Columbia, Canada. Labworks, I would seal wool with white Scotch-Brite, all the surfaces, and see what happens underneath. I think that's what I'm going to do. There's a lot of dents on the top as well. I think from where people have been throwing their keys on the table, and also the box on the right-hand side. So this is the one on the right-hand side on top. It's also got dents, but none on the left, which makes me think that the person that owned it is right-handed. Took his keys out or coins and just threw them there. If it was a left-hand owner, would have gone to the other side. I love this little detective work. These old bits of furniture not only are so well made and beautiful to look at, they tell a story. You know, if you're open to receiving, they're there. Stephen, beanie weather, Dave. Nah, I can tough it. Mountain man. Russell, either a lot of work or a big lot of work. Yes, Silver, I got it. Erwin, nothing nicer to listen to you than to listen with a beer. Midnight Joker, brown wood is starting to come back in fashion in the UK. Is that what you call it, brown wood? I love it. Character marks, that could be as well, David. See, this, I've got the other one, and I love it. It's just it's a connection with my ancestors, my past. So I'm really happy to have that one. Vicky's got this one and this because she just loves this kind of stuff. And how fortunate am I that we both really enjoy the same kind of things, you know. I did good. I did good with her. All right, so what else have we got? That was a bit of a bummer the way I started the show with the patron thing running. But not to worry. They're worth it. They're worth it. I love my patrons. Oh, and something else. Last Patreon Zoom that we had after the Sunday show, I recorded part of it. And we had Cole from Gifkins Jig was in that recording. I might ask people in Patreon, like my patrons, whether or not they would be happy enough for me to put that recording in Patreon, just in the closed area, so only for the patrons, because there was some interesting stuff said that wasn't said on the show. So I'll put that out there. All right, and if they're happy enough for me to do that going forwards. What else have I got? Oh, the Gifkins Jig. Now, I've been reading up. Cole keeps on ringing me up and says, Dave, now have you got it right yet? Have you got it through your head? I'm a little bit slow to pick up on some things. But anyway, so what I've done is I've had a bit of a read of his book, and it's well worth it. I don't know if I've left a link down in the description box for Cole's Gifkins Jig where you can get it, but it's Gifkins, so it's www.gifkins.com.au. I think that's it. If you can't find it that way, go in Gifkins Dovetail, because that's Cole's business. Thanks, Zoe. It is lovely. Labworks, I'm getting one of the large box jigs so I can start making small bookshelf speaker kits. Good on you, LabWorks. Cole was really excited. He said there's been a heap of people have been sending him emails inquiring about the jig, and why not? So I'm going to show you how I've been mucking around with it a little bit as well. Now I've prepared a little bit of timber and I've put my face marks on, and I've also had a couple of goes, and I cut the pins and the dovetails off, and I've gone and getting it ready to go again. So I'm going to take you through the whole process, Dave doing it, mistakes and all. So Cole, please don't give me a hard time about this. And I will endeavour to keep on going with it and get it right. I'm going to spin this monitor around, but before I do, I'm going to put us onto that lot. Actually, I might just leave it like that. Spin this around as well. So you can see there is probably going to be the best. So you'll be able to see me down here. I'm getting pretty dark because I'm further down the workshop. Now, one of the things I've done, got you close up on that. You don't need to see my noggin during this because no more comment. Okay, one of the things I've done, Cole was saying that he wasn't too happy with the way that I'd set this up. So I spent about another 5 minutes last night and I adjusted all my corners. Now you might also notice I've drilled out the center here and over here because I've set mine into, I've retrofitted mine. How's that? It's going to be a little bit easier to talk like this. I'll talk to this camera. I've retrofitted mine into what had my Craig insert. Now how that was, there was a hole, and then I used my 1/2-inch rebate cutter, or rabbit cutter, whatever you want to call it, and went round, and it gave me the perfect radius on the corners. And my Craig insert, my Craig router plate, fitted in here perfectly. I had it set to the height and everything. So what I've done is I've put 2 layers of Festool's grip strip, the cushion strip. You don't have to use that. You could use any self-adhesive rubber. This is all to dampen sound. And I've gone all the way around on that rebate with that. Drop this insert plate in. I drilled out these 2 points here because these 2 holes at the ends are in a little bit too far for me in this situation, as I say, as a retrofit. So I've drilled those, I had drilled holes down through there, but when I put my countersink screws, or machine screws, threads, whatever you want to call it, with nylock nuts and a washer at the bottom, it started pulling off the edge because there wasn't enough meat left on where I'd put the rebate in the first place. And I thought, look, I'm not going to worry about it too much. A way around it for me would have been to cut some aluminium, 1/8 thick aluminium plate, and put it underneath to the underside of my table and drill a hole down through there and make that work as a stiffener for the edge of the rebate where it had blown out to the side. And that would in turn hold the screw head flat, because as soon as this screw started going like that from tensioning up underneath, the edge of the head started coming up. And everyone knows you can't have anything protruding on a router table. I didn't have time to do all that with the aluminium. So what I did was I countersunk the top of these threaded sections that are designed for the little grub screws to go down into. So I haven't destroyed the thread. I can still do that. So I've countersunk the top, and I've put an 1/8 wood screw down through there to act as my pull down to compress the that strip. Sorry, the two runs of cushion strip. Now, the cushion strip, with the weight of the router and everything, slowly started to pull down. So then I got the grub screws, or the set screws, and put them down inside there and wound them down, and they're going almost all the way through, but it leveled it up perfectly. And then I could pull down on these just a little bit to give it the tension. But now, look, I'll get this. You watch this. How good is that? That is perfect. What do you reckon about that, Cole? Hey? So now that's how I've got it. You'll notice also that I've got the extension on the router, because with the lift, with an old router, not with the Triton. I've got the Triton in here, but I can put the Makita in here anytime I want. I've shown you how I do that. So with an old router, You normally have to wind, if it's a plunge style router, and in Australia they're mostly plunge styles. You're doing okay so far. Thanks, Cole. I'm going to read down the side here a little bit. All this nice gear and techniques, not all of them I can ever use in my classroom due to lack of dollars, time to teach this to 24 students. Correct. Owen, I didn't read that. Brilliant, you like that, Cole. Stephen, awesome. Midnight Joker, would some stick on draft excluder work the same? Possibly, but draft extruder is a little bit more compressible. The good thing I like about the cushion strip, it doesn't compress too much. It's just with the weight of the router overnight, I noticed it did settle down. And to be honest, I had set it up perfect before Cole got here, and it's just that it had compressed a little bit. So that's why I decided to use the grub screws in the corner, just to make a solid base. The compression strip, I had put some of this stuff in. Remember, I made some of this and put it in, and these were lining up on it. But I was getting vibration noise coming through the table. I thought, now how can I counter that noise? I didn't like it. So you listen to this. You'll hear the vibration as it slows down because I haven't finished yet. But there's no earmuffs now when I'm running this. I'll put them on when I do the demo, but it's making it so much quieter. Now the other thing, I don't know if I finished talking about this, but because I sometimes get distracted by the comments. Yeah, so anyway, as I say, if you're going to try and retrofit this into a deeper section, you can do it if it's an old table that's got that rebate created for you to sit on. Now, if you're going to try and use it with the Craig levelers, I don't know if it's going to work. It might, but I don't know. It'd be an idea. I'm not going to try it. You could try it yourself if you wanted to, where you're creating that full hole like Craig router tables have got. I don't know. Anyway, where was I? You'll notice that I've taken the insert out. So this insert that lives here, I took it out because this will span totally where I'm working. The larger opening here, my dust extraction now, if you notice on the show on Sunday, all of the chip was flying out over here and it looked a little bit terrible. Now, with this throat open and my dust extractor turned on, I've got a 4-inch pipe running into the cabinet under here, which comes to a collection plate underneath the router, so it's creating a draft right the way down through the top, past the router, keeping it cool, because remember I've got this cabinet now has got a lot of sound insulation in it, like just sponge rubber and things, for low and high frequency. I'm going to line the underside of this actual top as well with the low frequency rubber and see if that gets rid of that noise as it's slowing down, also while it's cutting. Cole asked me about that the other day. He said, Dave, have you got any rubber connected to the actual underneath? And I thought, no, I haven't. Good idea. To do that, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might get some contact adhesive, spray adhesive, put on it, and then get a couple of pieces of, when I'm doing a plaster repair, what I do is I'll put a board across the top after I've put the backing piece in, and then put some glue either side, the blue glue, on that backing piece, pull it up tight and twitch it with some wire or put a couple of screws through, just to hold that backing piece until the glue goes off, then I'll float it off. But same kind of thing with this. I'll glue it, I'll get a couple of pieces of wood, no such thing as scrap, the throw out wood, put a couple of screws through it, up into the underside of the bench to hold it until it goes off, then I'll take those off, and then I haven't got any physical contact all the way through the rubber and kind of negating the sound insulation quality of the sponge rubber. Now, I must say that Foam Sales over in Western Australia supplied me with that sponge rubber. They supplied me with the material when I put the polystyrene on my garage door. Thank you very much for that. They're lovely people, very, very knowledgeable about all of this kind of stuff. And I'm more than happy to mention their name on the show because the stuff they gave me, it works. So have a look. I might have a link in the description box right at the bottom, all the people that help support the show. If you have a look down the bottom there, that's they've gone out of their way to help me, so I try and help them as well. Now, what I've got here, and one of the things that Cole will, and I'm going to come back up here so now you can see what's happening. One of the very interesting things to help you not be confused. See over here, it's got dovetail cutter and straight cutter. Now, this is a big, big thing, because for dummos like me, if I've got the dovetail cutter in there, which I have at the moment, I look down at the jig and see dovetail, because these are the straight pins. So you can get confused. You can get confused when you've got a straight cutter and straight pins. They don't work together. You use the dovetail cutter with the straight pins, and you use the straight cutter with the tapered pins, or, you know, some would say dovetail pins. Well, they're not the dovetail. They're the straight cut. Anyway, the tapered template, tapered side of the template. That's right. We don't call it a comb. I don't need a comb. Cole is beyond a comb at the moment, unless, of course, he's had a haircut. But he likes to ring me up and say, Dave, I'm sitting here at the beach having a lovely morning tea with Pam. That's great. All right, so what I'm going to do first is just quickly demonstrate the lift. I'll unlock it, and I'm going to raise it up. This couldn't be easier, could it? I love it. All right. You're going to go for the cast iron pro top. Good on you. Like a kid in a candy store, that's correct. Another quick read. That's a great idea. Align my tabletop with 25 Celotex, which help, but it's still a little too noisy. Now, Giles, how are you? From Canada. Silver, the question you asked Cole about turning your end straight over. It seems like you are cutting matched paired dovetails. Would that be correct? You had a haircut too, Cole. Beautiful. Okay, now what I do is I have this little guy here. This disables my switch on the outside of the cabinet. So I'll try to remember to always undo that when I'm touching this. This can't hurt me at the moment because it's totally turned off. Now this is a 19mm spanner. This is probably a 3/4 inch section at the bottom. So 3/4 of an inch is 19.05. It's very close. It might be a little tight. So this one here is 27mm. I don't know what the equivalent there is, possibly 1 1/16 or something. I'm going to undo it a little bit. Take the cutter out. Now, one of the interesting things about these cutters, this collar that holds the bearing in place is a nice deep one. Normally a collar is only around about the same thickness as the bearing. So this collar is designed to sit hard down on the 1/4 inch insert, and that stops that bearing sliding down from vibration. And it sits in there beautifully, doesn't it? And with mine also, I noticed Cole, when he grabbed it side by side and started reefing. Well, this is going to put a lot of pressure on the shaft. So I normally come back to there, so it's 2 hands in the one position to lock it. That's it. Does it make sense so far, guys? Cole, how am I going? Matthew, to both Dave and Cole, excellent show on Sunday. Thank you for taking the time to show the product. Now, I've got it up there. I can't turn it on from the outside because the switch is totally disabled mechanically. All right? Now, why have I got the lift in it? This part here. Sorry, the extension. This is what I was talking about old routers before, and then I forgot what I was talking about. With the old routers, with the plunge style router, you have to you have to raise the router all the way up in the assembly. So push the plate as far away from the body of the router, the base plate, so you can get your spanners in to change the cutter. You can't do that from above the table with one of that style of router. So hence I've got this extension in. Now, while I'm talking about this extension, I'm going to tell you something very, very important and very scary that happened to me. With that extension, it's a different taper to tighten it up than the Triton's standard collets and chucks. Don't be tempted to undo this and put their 1/4 inch chuck on there on the extension instead of the genuine one that's made for it. This taper here, I can't take that out. this taper here is different to the taper inside the head of this extension. Because it's different, you will not get it tightening up straight. It'll tip off to one side or the other. And with a cutter in it, that's a recipe for disaster. So do not use this. Always use an insert, like I call it reducer. Now, Cole's got some fantastic ones, and Cole, I'm going to ask you on the show if you can send one of those down to me, because mine has only got 3 slots in it. So it's got 1 cut all the way through and 2 cuts, like this is around the top there. See, the Triton has got 4. Okay, that's the same as Cole's, 4 little slots. Mine has got 1 slot cut all the way through, and the other 2 slots, 1/3 of the way around, are almost all the way through. So that's its pivot point. That's what's in here. So I think with the other insert, it's going to reduce the amount of vibration even more. It's going to make that cutter as centralized as possible. So there you go. That's what I'm after. Now I've got the dovetail cutter in there at the moment. This is the one supplied by Gifkins. And as I say, don't just go out and try and buy an ordinary dovetail cutter with his jig, because that there is done like that on purpose. Cole stuff is purpose built for his jigs. So, little tip. I'm going to read down the side again. Excellent. Steve Wallbank, Sam. Erwin, does this bit come with the jig? Yes, this bit does come with the jig. For that particular model. So you have to have a chat with Cole. Get in touch with him, send an email, info@gifkins.com.au. I think that's it. Put your email up there for them, Cole, and they can send you stuff. Yes, the bits come in the sets. My reducer has 8 slots and a top lip. So is it 8 slots? 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom, isn't it, Cole? That's what I was meaning. So with this one, it's the same. There's 4 slots in the bottom and 4 in the top. So it's 1/8 of the way around. Okay. Hi, Andy. How are you? Brett, check that grub screw on the collar for tightness. Lost mine first go. Okay. Stephen, Lee used 8mm shaft bits just to be different or difficult. No, it's because it's slightly stronger than a 1/4 inch. But the thing is, Cole gives you 1/4 inch up to a certain size, then he goes to 1/2 inch, totally. So it depends on which jig you get. The cutters are perfect for what they're doing, and also the fact that it's sitting down on the insert, that little 1/4 inch insert, there's no chance really for it to flex because there's no extended section of shaft hanging up past the top of the chuck. It's got this reinforcer around it. Now that's basically a 1/2 inch above. It's a great system. A lot of thought has gone into this. All right, now let's see if we can stuff it up totally. Next thing I have to do, I'll stay down here, why not, is this stuff here. Now this is beautiful, that's fine. Gifkins.com.au. Morning all, Brian here, hope you're all well. Yes, Silver Cole, whereabouts in Coffs are you? I live in Armadale, go there frequently. Cole doesn't want you dropping in. He might be busy having, a little bit of a relax outside or a coffee, and last thing he wants is people rocking up. He might turn around and say, Dave, no, it's fine, people can drop in. Okay. Is it .com or .com.au there, Cole? Is the extension from Gifkins? No. There's a link down in the description box where you can get the description. So I've put a link down there for Amazon Australia and also for Amazon USA. So have a look in the description box below this video section. You'll see that there. Also, if you want to, you can get them from Carbotech. So drop into Carbotech and away you go. Now they also have, I think it's a 1/2 inch to 1/4. That's another option. These are all CMT, made in Italy. So they're quality units. But as I say, do not use the Triton chuck, which has already got a 1/4 inch reducer built in. You're asking for trouble. Don't say I didn't warn you. Call first. Yes. The trend is an 8mm shank and 6mm collet too, Stephen. It's a CMT. Indeed it is. You'll get it a little bit cheaper going through my link, but that's just the thing with online stores. They are normally a bit cheaper. If you're willing to wait, it's going to take about 2 weeks for it to arrive. Next thing we want to do. So this here is the same thickness as that, as the base plate here. So what we're doing now is we're going to put that with a piece of the timber, same kind of thickness, on top. Now, Cole didn't explain this the other day. He just went, oh yeah, this is how you do it. So I'm going to make sure that the lift is unlocked. And remember, link in the description box below as well for Australian and New Zealand people only, because Carbotech is an Australian company with a franchise in New Zealand. And where they've given me one of these to give away on the show. It's got about another 6 days to run, I think, the competition. There's been a heap of entries. So very happy about that, if you want one. So I'm demonstrating this at the same time. I'm going to lower it down. How easy is this? I'm not getting underneath. The reason I'm down here on my knees is because you can see what's happening. I've got the thing close up. All right, so I'm going to wind it down now. This, remember, is the thickness of the template. That template there. This is the thickness of the timber that I've got in the template, in the jig. I'm going to bring it down so the cutter, the top of the cutter, is 1 millimeter above the actual timber. So that's how it all works. It's just so easy. Lowering down. And see we're against the bearing now that's against the template material. Clever, 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 clever. Put this on top, and I'm going to lower it down to about 1 millimeter above. Now we do that because it's always a good idea to sand the tails off. Anytime you cut end grain, you're never going to get a super clean finish. You need to sand it. There we go, done. So that's my dovetail. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to bring this across. Now, I have the red and the black side. Now these things, as Cole was saying, are an add-on to the kits. These don't come with the kits, you can buy them. And they're there to hold the Bessie clamps. Now you'll see I've got my face there and I'm pointing up. Cole would start his with the face and edge pointing down. Now, this is something that I'm yet to get my head around as to why there's a difference, but I'm going to bring that out to there. Put the clamps on. I love these little Bessies. Mine are the next size up than Cole's got, than he used the other day. But you'll notice that the lever and the end of the clamp are only around about 10 mil difference in height this way. Cole's finished down here somewhere, so he doesn't have this part hanging out. It's only just the lever parts. Now, what I'm going to do is make sure that I've read this, and it says dovetail cutter. Very, very important. Is a height adjustment pad the black rectangular item the same thickness as the template? Yes, it is, David. So I think I prefer my lift that has a coarse movement to change height quickly and a fine tune wheel. Right. Height adjusting pad. Okay, great for really small boxes. Okay, so everyone's happy chatting. I'm going to move this over here. And because I'm doing a demonstration, I'm going to put these guys on for eye protection. So we can see these are the eye muffs, and turn on the dust extraction, which is pulling down through here. And I'm going to put the safety back in the external switch. Turn her on. Let's have a go. Holding like this. This is how Cole does it. Hold it like that and hold it down. And I'm going to look around the side. See, hardly any dust is coming out. Turn her off. Wait for it to stop. flip her over. See those? Not the perfect size piece of timber, but you'll see it'll work anyway. Now, you notice that I've turned it this way. I have not turned it that way. So we turn it end for end that way so that our face mark is still facing away from us. Also, another interesting thing is not to be working this way towards me. Don't be tempted to do that. Make sure you're working away from yourself. Slide that back in. I have a look across the bottom to make sure I've got full contact all the way through. See, that's hard down against the template. I love this. All right, we're going to do this one. Just going to touch it up again. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I had the template across this just a little bit, and this is ever so slightly taller than the bench top. Okay. How good is the dust? I love it. Hardly anything was escaping, just a little bit, most of it down through there. All right, out comes my yellow thing again. Unlock. Moment of truth, Cole. And raise it up. Now you notice that this is lifting at the same time. It's only just the friction of me pushing against the edge. When I let it go, it drops straight back down again. But sometimes people might like to have it staying up like that so that fingers aren't coming across the top of that. Let's take that out. How are we doing for time? 10:42. Are you enjoying it, guys? I know it's a little bit of revision of what we were doing on Sunday, but I'm all for a little bit of revision. Whoop, out we come. Careful when you're taking them out that you don't cut yourself. I pulled that a little bit fast there. It didn't cut me, but still a good idea not to go too fast. And close it. Done. Down we go. Down to the same height. I like the lift. I got to say, I love it. So we get our piece of template. I think this comes with a kit, doesn't it, Cole, the template? Down we go. Template's got to push against the bearing, and then we can come in and have a look. And we get, as I say, we're just going to go around about a millimetre past. That's lovely. Unlock it. Done. Get the other piece of wood. Now, as you can see, this has never been prepared. This is purely for me to be mucking around with. It's all torn out on the back, but it is the same dimension as this. Okay. In and out a few times on each. Though, can you show us your switch setup and the yellow piece? Thanks. I will in a second. Yeah, okay. Point the face side mark at the same stop every first cut. Okay, so this is the... Cole, you're saying that I should point this to that when I turn this around. So instead of pointing it that way, point it that way. Is that what you're saying? You know, I'm really tempted. I'm tempted because I'm going to do this anyway. I still don't understand why that's going to make a difference if I do the first cut there in comparison to there. It's going to get done anyway. I'm not moving any of this, but I'll do as you say. I'll go this way. That's my first cut. Okay. No. Okay. That's your second cut. Go. I'm watching these lift kit and giving serious consideration buying one instead of making one as an engineering product for one. Point it at the same black one. Okay. Point this at the black one. Is that what you're saying, Cole? Are you happy now? Dave, as you started with, mark towards the black knob. All right, I'll do it. But I'm going to have a little practice off air one day and see what happens. I'm a shocker, aren't I? You can't tell me. I won't be told. That's all there is to it. Okay, so now, again, we're down nice and tight across the bottom. Okay, and remember that I can't do it at an angle on my particular top because, as I said, that is ever so slightly higher. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go in with the cut a little bit, and then I'm going to go across the face between the pins. So I'm reading again. It says straight cut. See, this is the little check thing. It says straight cut there. Do the Carbotech inserts for the router lift sit nice and flat compared to the surface of the plate? Carbotech inserts for the router lift. They do. They sit beautifully here. Absolutely magic. The only reason I've taken it out is because I want more draft being pulled down through here. Okay, so I'm going to go across the face to make sure that I don't get tear out there. See, if I was to go all the way in and then across and then pull back, I'd get tear out on the face here, and I don't want that. So I'm going to do it, as Cole said, basically it's a little bit of a climb cut if I was to go in on the left-hand side. But you don't want to do that. It's best to go across the face and then all the way in. Now my yellow thing, I will get it, the other camera when I've finished doing this and show you what I mean. Put the eye mask back on. Turn on the extraction. Turn this on. Beautiful. Going in straight. On that one to start. In this one, and then across. See that? And then down the side. Across and back. Yep. And then in and across. If you're going to get one of these extensions, be aware that there is just that tiny little bit of vibration that you won't get because the thing is a whole lot longer now than it originally was. But I haven't found it to be an issue as far as the quality of the work coming out of it. All right. I'm not going to do the other end. Because I've already got, let me have a look here, take this out. Because I've already got one cut. So I need to line up the end of my face mark with this. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to push that down and then this push into it. I hope it's going to work, Cole. It's a little tight. It's just a little bit tight. I'll tell you what, that's not bad at all. I'm going to put it on the lip here because it's not pushing all the way down yet. So if I push it there, done. That's in nice. What do you think? Solid joint. Now, one other thing I want to do is I'll get my little Seneca square. If it's here, there it is. And my coffee. This little guy. Put it inside. It's not bad. I love it. The tops are perfect, as you can see. As I say, it's just a bit of scrap. I always struggle to use the spacers on the jig to properly adjust the dovetail. I'll have to sit in you in the next show to learn how to things from your and Cole dovetail spacing of the feet. Joseph, do you have the vent in the door? Block it and the suction through the plate should increase. Matthew, from here, my little classroom, that looks tidy. Okay. No. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that camera around there. I'm going to go freestyle with one of the cameras, and it might work a little bit better for you to see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go to the main camera, and it's going to be a little bit wobbly. There we go. That's the main camera. Take it off there and around the edge, and down to my switch. So there's the switch here that I've got on the outside of the table. At the moment, it can't turn anything on. When this goes into there, it's a mechanical connection. Now, and on again. No, wait for it to finish. It's got a soft start, that's why it wouldn't start again. It's one of the reasons I've got the Triton in there, is that it does have the soft start. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to put this back up here. Like so. Spin this camera around to there. Tip that down a little. Zoe's sign there, which we can see now because this camera's got a bigger area that it looks at. I've got to just tighten that up a touch. And down. That's pretty good. Grab my coffee and come back again. So as I say, you can see things have been happening during the week, and hence I didn't really want to wait till Sunday to show you a couple of things that I've been working on. But that's a pretty decent joint. Yeah. I'm very happy with it. Okay. Would be no need glue at all. Steve, you need to do a test cut and then adjust the card shims if necessary. I probably do. I probably would have needed to adjust the card shims in that, just so it's possibly a little bit too tight, but for, you know, without any real training, I think it's done pretty good. Now, if a mug like me can do it, it's going to be easy for you guys. You know, it's how nice is that joint? Again, I've got to read that book a little bit more and learn how to adjust the shims. It shouldn't be a big problem. How many styles of joints can it do? It does dovetails, it does box joints. Now, it can also, if you use different cutters and different parts, like the jumbo jig and the big cutters and things like that, you could possibly, or even the ones for the larger timber, you could possibly make a dovetail joint, put the joint together, cut the back off the joint, well, glued, cut the back off it, then go again with a smaller template and a smaller cutter and cut the inside of the existing dovetails out. And then you can have different colours. There's a whole lot of experimenting you can do. These are just little thoughts that I had while I was having a glass of port last night. One more shim in here, do you reckon? Possibly good. Okay, nice jig. Gifkins, not scrap, Dave. It's an offcut. Of course, I'm an idiot. Stephen, I can help anyone in Melbourne with hands-on experience with the Gifkins Jig. Yeah, this is what I love about this group. You guys that watch, and my patrons and all that kind of stuff, and on Dave Stanton's live stream page on Facebook, everyone supports each other, and it's really, really nice. It's a refreshing thing to happen in these times. Anthony, do you have issues with the wiring since the switch is on the door? No, there's no issues with the wiring at all, because that switch is defined to be an inline switch. It's got a female plug on the end of a lead and a male. Now the male goes off to the power point. The female, you just plug the router into the female. That's how they've been built. So basically it's an inline switch, on, off, on, off, on, off. You leave your item, your machine turned on always. When it's in a router table, that's fine. Don't ever try and do this with a router you're going to use as a handheld. It'd be, you know, crazy. Brett, where can I buy one of those switches, Dave? Well, you can. There's another switch that they have, which is an NVR, no volt release switch, that Carbotech have. I say that because I work there and I know where to get these things. I'm sure other companies have them as well, but it's called there's the one that you could use is an NVR, no volt release, which means that if the power is disconnected as well, when the power comes back on, say there's a blackout, well then it's not going to turn, the machine's not going to start up. And they're an inline as well for router tables. Carbotech sell them with their router tables as well. So you could buy one as an aside if you wanted. Okay, Gifkins, one more shim. Okay, silver, great joint, strong, and no second guessing yourself when doing by hand. Stephen, drop the slot with your router plane. You could do. That's the handcraft spirit. Good job, Dave. Thanks a lot for that, Cole. I've been given a little pat on the bald head by the master. Why did I get my hair cut in the middle as we're going into winter? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like the ducklings. Got it all wrong, you know, what the hell. Also, stock the switches. Meidendop, I don't know who they are. Russell, no idea whatsoever. Good morning, Barry. How are you? Matthew, I think Hare and Forbes have something like an external NVR switch box. It's been a while since I looked. I'll show you another one that I've got that I'm thinking about putting on. Give me a second. I think it's this one. Yeah, so this is an NVR switch. This is one that I did a repair on, and it works fine for me now. So this is your emergency stop. This is start, this is stop, obviously. Now, on the back is a power point. So you plug your router into there, or whatever machine it is, and at the other end, you've got a standard 10 amp plug. So I may put that on the door instead of. The reason being, that's a really nice switch to be able to hit my knee with. So what I would do, I'll possibly undo these 4 screws, separate the lid from the box, cut a hole in the door that's the right dimensions to make sure everything is clear here, and then put it back together, sandwiching the door in between the face and the back. Possibly also with some sponge rubber to stop it sliding around a little bit, that cushion strip, which is very handy for everything. And these things are available. You know, if I'm trying to get it, as I say, I'm trying to make things so when I retire, everything is just going to be dead easy in this workshop. You know, I know it's enviable at the moment. I understand that, but I'm a kind of an obsessive character, and I love to keep expanding and tweaking things so that it's all going to be lovely. DeWalt bandsaw has an NVR with an isolation key. People attach the key with a piece of plug chain to save losing them. Dave, just joined. Will I be able to watch this back later? Gary, yes, you can. Not a problem at all. What I do with the live streams is I put them in so that there's no monetization at the beginning. So there's no ad at the beginning. Sometimes I'll do it so there's an ad at the end. But then after the live show, on the recording, I try not to have an ad at the beginning, but I do put mid-roll ads in. So it just does it automatically. There'll be an ad popped in here, there along the trip. They are skippable, but please let a couple run. That's how I end up being able to buy coffee and all that kind of stuff. It helps the channel out because I'm just one guy doing this stuff. You can skip them, I think. With TV stations, they get their income from advertising, and you can't skip them. There's 15, 20-second ads, whatever. There's a few of them, and you're happy enough to watch them. So as I say, if you can help me out, that'd be nice. I try and do the live show totally clean, but as I say, the recording, if you got a couple of seconds, let them run. That'd be lovely. Okay, so where are we up to? Gary, cheers. Okay, Planty, another good show, Dave. Thanks, Planty. So I've shown you the switch. I've shown you the other switch that I'm thinking about putting in. I've talked about sound insulation in the cabinet as well with the router table, and you can hear how quiet it is. It's just beautiful. My pleasure, Gary. What else we got? Ken, how does one get a nice router table together? Ken, that's a whole other question. You know, there's plenty of plans on the internet. You can have a look around. How does the premium YouTube account affect your ad stream? Terrible. It kills it big time. So, you know, when they ask you to do a month's free trial and then they charge you for watching YouTube, what happens is I still get maybe, I don't know, 1/4 cent per show or per video I do for if you watch it, in comparison to maybe 5 cents. You know, so 5 cents doesn't sound like much, but when you add it up, it's like a poker machine. You hit the jackpot and all these coins start dropping. A lot of coins add up to being something that I can survive on. So there you go. That's all it is. But look, I'm not going to tell you not be a premium because I still get a little bit from it, but it's nicer if it's not. Okay, Silver, see you later. Great show, Dave. That's all right, John. It's not a problem. Not a problem. As I say, that's life. I'm going to grab my mouse. Thanks for watching, everybody. And as I say, I shall see you guys on Sunday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I might have talked about everything that we can do now, but I might muck around with the Gifkins Jig a bit more and see if I can actually do a little project with it. We'll see. You know, that may not happen. I might be working on these things because I know Vicky's keen to get this up in the house and she can start using it straight away. Thank you again to my patrons and to everyone who drops in and watches the show, whether it's just a midweek chat like this or the main show or my main videos as well. So thanks a lot. I'll read down the side here. Steve, talk to the people who created their own router table. They'll tell you yes. Dave Tills today from US sell an excellent router extended with no vibration. Excellent. Catch you later. Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Stay safe. We're always a pleasure, Dave Labworks. Great show, Dave. Thanks, David from John, Northeast. Thanks, Dave. And it keeps on going. Dave, how about some box joints with the Gifkins Jig? I think it's a different template. I don't think I have that template. That would be good. Okay, well maybe Cole might send me down a box joint jig or not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thanks everyone. Stay safe. Cheers, Dave. I shall see you all later. Be nice to each other. Look after yourselves. I'll see you later.